out on the drums and the cymbals there. We had not just one mascot, but we had a whole thing of them, about 10 or 12 of them.
Yep, absolutely right. And the singers and the MCs hyping the crowd up as much as possible to ensure that this will be a real feast by the end of the night. In fact, it has been a feast already in KL because the unofficial start of competition was at the start of this week on Monday in itself, when the netballers and footballers got underway. A lot of gold medals have been given out already, with Malaysia currently leading the medal tally with 7 gold medals, the same amount of gold medals that Singapore actually won before the start of the opening ceremony in 2015.
Lots of exciting action coming our way, not just over the next couple of weeks, but also tonight. Very excited as we're looking at what should be a packed stadium here at Bukit Jalil. 87,000, just over 87,000 people capacity here in this stadium. It's going to be electrifying in there.
Absolutely. It's the second time this stadium's actually host of the opening ceremony. It did so in 2001. It was actually built for the 1998 Commonwealth Games. The first 3 editions that Malaysia hosted in 65, 71, 77, and also 1989. It was actually at the Merdeka Stadium. But always a sense of anticipation whenever Malaysia hosts the games. There'll always be landmarks. There'll always be first pioneers. A lot of sports in Southeast Asia. I remember in 1965, Malaysia actually introduced sepak takraw into the SEA Games for the very first time, and look what it has done for the region of Southeast Asia, because the best teams in the world now are from Southeast Asia in that sport. And then in 1977, of course, the likes of Indonesia, Brunei, Philippines joined in the SEA Games family, and it changed from the Southeast Asian Peninsula Games to the Southeast Asian Games that we come to know about these days. 1989, they had introductions and a little changes to sport, just like introducing the 50 meters freestyle into swimming. And the last time in 2001, it introduced the likes of Baton into the games, so that countries like Laos will have an opportunity to chalk themselves up in the medal tally as well. And in 2001, let's not forget, football was turned into an under-23 event, and that was when they allowed the likes of the Southeast Asian boys to actually compete at the Asian and Olympic Games level, because those games require under-23 footballers. This time around, there will be some particular games that could be very interesting. One of them, of course, being sports that are usually played at the Winter Olympics. And we're looking at like speed skating. That's just one of them. So in a few years' time, perhaps we would see Southeast Asian nations sending athletes to the Winter Olympics, and it all is thanks to 2017 in KL.
You mentioned just now about a couple of firsts that we're hoping to see over the course of these games, but one of the firsts that we are going to see today, and we're actually seeing the culmination of what was the first ever baton relay. Rising Together Baton Run, that was what they'd started with back in March 2017. So instead of just having the torch relay, they actually started before that with the baton relay. They covered Brunei, Philippines, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, then heading over to Vietnam, Timor-Leste, Cambodia, Indonesia, and then to Singapore. That was its final destination before we actually kick-started the torch relay. We're going to see that culminating here this evening.
Absolutely, and with a lot of SEA Games, the opening, people whispering on who the final torchbearer is to light the cauldron. We haven't been told yet, so it will be a surprise even for Kelly and myself who that final torchbearer would be. But looking at the list of Malaysian legends and the athletes that are on show tonight, there are huge, heavy whispers. It might just be a certain badminton player named Lee.
We're not going to tell you the full name, though. We'll keep that a surprise for later on. Interestingly, though, this year we're going to hear a lot of music throughout the course of this opening ceremony. There are 3 official songs for Kuala Lumpur 2017, including 1 theme song. And some of these songs were actually crowdsourced via social networking sites, which was quite interesting because it meant that they really got the Malaysian population involved, getting everybody really in the spirit of the games.
Oh, they have to be, because the closing ceremony is supposed to take place on the date of their 60th year of independence. So a very big year indeed for Malaysia, and they've invited us to join in the celebrations as well for their 60th year of independence. And this, by the way, tonight in itself is exactly 28 years since they hosted the games in 1989, to the date in itself as well.
The official motto for the Southeast Asian Games in this year's edition is Rising Together, or in Malay, Bangkit Bersama. It was chosen to highlight unity between the nations in Southeast Asia, as well as to signify the Kuala Lumpur Games as the first Southeast Asian Games to be held after the formation of the ASEAN community in 2015. We're going to see a lot of that Bangkit Bersama coming through in the course of the opening ceremony tonight. Lots of different cultures, different types of instruments, all coming together in one big melting pot, which we usually identify with Malaysia.
Absolutely right. So Cheong-hin's the creative director of the show in itself. He's been pretty prolific in terms of his output for his film work, so we expect a visual feast tonight. And we'll, of course, keep a lookout on Team Singapore, have sent their biggest away contingent to these games, and they have done pretty well so far, chalking up 3-3-3. Those are the numbers. We're talking about gold, silver, bronze, with So Ryong being the latest gold medal winner in the men's marathon earlier on today.
I think a lot of us were looking towards Mocking Run to hopefully get a result and get on the podium there, but So Ryong doing very well to come in and get our third consecutive gold in the marathon event.
He could have run on for a couple more kilometers after the marathon as well. Yeah, he was running around high-fiving everyone when everybody looked beat and down after 42.195 kilometers. So Ryong probably has run himself to the stadium for the opening ceremony. Don't be surprised to see him there walking as well. That boy is really, really fit. Malaysia, as I said earlier on, topping the medal tally at the moment. 7 golds, 4 silvers, 5 bronze medals, 16 medals altogether for them. We'll keep a lookout over the next couple of days as well, because Malaysia might be on the verge of another landmark for them, which will be the next gold medal, and that will be their 1,100th gold medal in their SEA Games history.
That could potentially come courtesy of a netball final happening tomorrow. Of course, Singapore's hoping it's not going to go that way. Singapore, the reigning champions, but Malaysia, the Asian champions from 2016. That match will be taking place at 3 p.m.
So 2017, 8/17 is when the games officially opens, and we'll go for a break. We'll come back in a very short while live from the Bukit Jalil Stadium in Kuala Lumpur.
الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا حامدين حمدا شاكرين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلالك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله واصحابه اجمعين. اللهم بك نستغيث وبك نستهدي وبك نتوكل انك ذو القوه المتين. Allahumma ya Allah, kami semua dengan penuh tawaduk menadah tangan bersyukur kehadrat-Mu di atas limpah kurnia-Mu ke atas kami. Engkau jadikanlah majlis perasmian substansi KL 2017 ini sebaik-baik majlis, dan Engkau sempurnakanlah dengan sebaik-baik. Allahumma ya Sattar ya Alim, Kau lindungilah negara kami dan negara Asia ini daripada huru-hara, bencana dan bala, dan sejahterakanlah hamba-Mu. Lindungilah ya Allah pemimpin-pemimpin negara kami, satu padukanlah hati-hati kami. Jadikanlah majlis substansi KL 2017 ini sebaik-baik majlis untuk mengukuhkan semangat kesukanan, perpaduan, toleransi sesama kaum untuk harmoni dan sejahtera. Allahumma ya Ghafur ya Wadud, sesungguhnya kami semua hamba-Mu berharap dan menagih rahmat-Mu. Kurniakanlah kesehatan tubuh badan kepada para atlet-atlet yang bertanding di instansi KL 2017 pada kali ini. Lindungilah mereka daripada kecederaan, bahaya dan penyakit. Kuatkanlah azam mereka untuk terus berjuang sehingga mencapai kejayaan. Allahumma ya Aziz ya Jabbar, untuk kesekian kalinya ya Allah, kesejahteraan-Mu dipohon, segala kesalahan dan kesilapan mohon diampuni. Berkatilah kami semua ini yang sedang berhidup. Selamatkanlah ya Allah dan sejahterakanlah seluruh rakyat dalam negara yang tercincin ini. Begitu jua hamba rakyat di negara-negara jiran yang dikasihi ini. Sempurnakanlah balik pembukaan yang besar kami seraya-raya. Jadikanlah perjalanan acara-acara sukan pada hari-hari seterusnya dipenuhi dengan semangat kesukaran dan ikatan perpaduan sesama hati. Benarlah sebagaimana firman-Mu, ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dzakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum syu'uban wa qabaila lita'arafu. Wahai anak manusia, sesungguhnya kami telah menciptakan kamu dari laki dan perempuan, dan kami telah menjadikan kamu berbangsa-bangsa, bersuku-suku dan berpuak-puak, supaya kamu berkenal kenalan dan beramah mesra antara satu sama lain. Wassallallahu
Welcome back to Kuala Lumpur. This is our live coverage of the 29th SEA Games opening ceremony, coming to you live from the Bukit Jalil Stadium here on MediaCorp.
Not too far away, just 5 minutes before the start of the 29th SEA Games opening ceremony. In a games which has 38 sports, 404 events, and all the games being competed. As we talked about earlier on, some new sports like ice skating, ice hockey to be included in the list as well. And we hear that Malaysia will host close to 6,000 athletes. That's the second biggest ever athlete turnout in terms of a single games, just behind the 2005 Manila Games in the Philippines. So the host nation should be all set and ready, not just to open these games with a bang, but also to play host to the various athletes who have come here to try to win gold or maybe even a medal and take back some great memories from the 29th SEA Games.
An interesting opening ceremony awaits us here this evening, as we will be telling lots of stories about the culture, the background and the history of Malaysia, and how it's all come together to show one true colour of Malaysia.
Of course, it starts with the arrival of the VIPs and then the athletes' arrival. And after that, the Malaysian legends, at least the sports legends, will bring in those SEA Games charter flags, and then we're all set and ready for the show. That's all starting, of course, 2017, 5 minutes or 4 minutes from now here at the Bukit Jalil Stadium. So if you need to have a break, go on, take your break now and come join us in a while, because we will have live pictures from inside the Bukit Jalil Stadium in a while.
Hello and welcome to the Bukit Jalil Stadium. We are coming to you live from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for the opening ceremony of the 29th SEA Games.
Almost all set and ready to go then for the opening ceremony. Well, they did say it's 2017, 8:17. And that's when the lights go up and the athletes come out in full force. Southeast Asia is all set and ready for this biennial competition. Malaysia ready, of course, to host it for the first time since 2001.
This will be the 6th time that Malaysia has hosted the Games. Previous editions took place in 1965, 1971, 1977 and 1989, and as Mark just mentioned, 2001 as well. Malaysia has been waiting for this moment, and they're looking to do so in its 60th year of independence. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
Well, if it's anything like 2001 when they won 111 gold medals, the Malaysians will be pretty pleased by the end of August. And the SEA Games comes to a close because that was their most fruitful year in terms of garnering gold medals. First time ever they went past the century mark, 111 gold medals, 75 silvers and 85 bronzes back then. Of course, host countries usually end up with most of the gold medals, sports that are catered to their needs and their ways. Singapore at the last SEA Games garnered their best ever in terms of medal hauls and also gold medals won. And they finished second on the medal standings just behind Thailand, but they were, of course, the country that won the most medals at the 2015 SEA Games in Singapore. And a total of 84, I believe, 84 gold medals won by Singapore at the last SEA Games, which is still a record. They're looking for their best ever away showing. And I can tell you that their best ever away showing happened in 2007 in Korat, Thailand, where they won 43 gold medals. Anything more than that, and this will be another very, very productive, fruitful SEA Games for Singapore.
Speaking of Thailand, when you talk about the most number of gold medals ever raked in, Thailand have 13 times now since 1959 walked away with the most number of gold medals. Indonesia just behind them, 10 times that they've walked away with the most number of golds and the most fruitful of outings for them. And Malaysia just once. But I'm sure they'll be hoping to rake in, like you said, plenty more this time round with home country advantage. We mentioned earlier on that tomorrow might be another opportunity to get one more gold medal in the bag. The netball competition, that will be the final match between Malaysia and Singapore. In the round robin match, Malaysia had actually beat Singapore, so Singapore will be looking to exact revenge and hopefully reclaim their title as SEA Games champions.
Well, we're hearing in the background the cue for perhaps the opening titles, and we hope that it'll appear pretty soon for the start of the 2017 SEA Games.
Get a look inside the stadium. The beautiful Bukit Jalil Stadium, the national stadium here in Kuala Lumpur.
Lights, and as you can see on the floor, floor mapping ready to accept everyone here in KL for the opening of the 2017 Southeast Asian Games.
Para hadirin diminta berdiri untuk menyambut keberangkatan tiba ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Muhammad Kelima.
please remain standing for the national anthem of Malaysia, Negaraku, performed by the Malaysian Armed Forces Central Band, and for the raising of the Malaysian flag.
Hadirin sekalian dipersilakan untuk terus berdiri bagi nyanyian lagu Negaraku yang akan dipersembahkan oleh pasukan pancaragam pusat Angkatan Tentera Malaysia dan untuk upacara menaikkan bendera Malaysia.
Please be seated.
Hadirin sekalian dipersilakan duduk.
Malaysia says Selamat Datang ke Malaysia.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 320 Malaysian flags representing Malaysia's population of 32 million, followed by the flags of the 11 participating countries along with the Federation and Edition flags.
Welcoming us in the way they know best, with music. We start with the procession of the flags.
Selagi ku tuan bertandang, senyuman diumpat dan bencana dijanji. Tunjukkan siapa tuan mempunyai gelanggang. Selagi ada belang, selagi bernadi, ngau mandi, ngaukan taring nyanyi larang. Di puncak singgah sana mahkota menanti. Mereka bersemadi, kita bersemayam.
What a stunning start. And we have 320 flags, including the ones on stage, the 10 flags representing the 10 different nations.
Watch out now, the Tigers on the prowl. As Malaysia's all set and ready to introduce perhaps the most popular figure in KL for the past couple of months. It's a fever that has been electrifying all of Malaysia through all of their iconic figures in KL.
Lighting up each of our landmarks.
And it's a figure, of course, that has seen people just begging to take a snapshot with at every venue. Here he comes, the mascots of the 29th SEA Games.
Described as gracious, friendly, competitive, as well as an athletic athlete. Look at him go, flying through the air. Rimau in Malay meaning tiger, but the name is also an abbreviation of the game's core values, namely respect, integrity, move, attitude, and unity.
And boy, can that tiger move.
Presenting Rimau, the official mascot for the 29th Southeast Asian Games. Rimau stands for respect, integrity, move, attitude, and unity.
We saw him earlier on, drumming with the drummers, and now he's flying. Rimau can do almost everything. Projection
Ladies and gentlemen,
is set up
please
for the
welcome
athletes
the
to enter
athletes
now.
of the 29th SEA Games.
The athletes march past as KL says hello to all 11 participating nations of these KL 2017 Games.
I always love the athletes march past. It's your first chance to really get a good glimpse of these athletes and to see who will be looking on the podiums over the next few weeks.
Absolutely right, Kelly, and it's not just us looking at them, but they're also getting their first taste of what the atmosphere might be like in Malaysia as well, at all the venues and all the stadiums that they'll be competing in over the next couple of weeks. It's a moment they all love, and in this day and age, of course, handphones and selfies will be out. As we start with Brunei Darussalam, led in by Wushu exponent Muhammad Adi Salihin. And Adi Salihin is slated for 3 Wushu events. No gold medals at the last SEA Games for Brunei. The last gold medal was won by the Wushu team of Faustina Wu and Li Yingxi back in 2013. They've only won 1 gold medal ever in a KL Games, and they're hoping to add to that. In fact, they've already won 3 bronze medals before the start of these opening ceremonies.
Officially the nation of Brunei, or the abode of peace. But I'm sure they're coming here to stake their claim on as many sports as they can. Of the sports that they love playing, silat, various martial arts, badminton, polo, and sepak takraw as well.
Well, those martial arts sports are something that Brunei is very good at doing. Last SEA Games, their only silver medal came in Taekwondo, and so apt that their flag bearer is from Wushu, because most of their medals over the years have come from that sport.
Although the Bruneians do love their football, it's one of the most popular sports in Brunei. The Brunei national team won the Malaysia Cup in 1999.
With a contingent strength of 160 athletes.
As we welcome the next country, Cambodia.
Led by flag bearer Sak Chan Mien, a world champion in Baton. Here come the Cambodians for their 20th Southeast Asian Games. The best ever showing in the SEA Games actually happened in KL, and that was in 1971, when as the Khmer Republic they notched 17 gold medals, 18 silvers and 17 bronze medals. Well, I know it's a Baton athlete leading the way, but the athlete to watch out for from Cambodia is their Taekwondo exponent, Son Siap Mei. She, the first ever Cambodian athlete to win a gold medal at the Asian Games, and she is here as well at these KLC Games to add to her legacy in the sport of Taekwondo.
Bordered by Thailand to the northwest, Laos to the northeast, and Vietnam to the east, as well as the Gulf of Thailand to the southwest. They're definitely looking to carve out a name for themselves at this SEA Games.
Well, they won a gold medal at the last SEA Games, and that came in the sport of Shinlon. So it's another one of those sports as well, which is very popular in the Indochina regions, which they'll try to capitalize on here at these KL Games.
With a contingent size of 855 athletes, led by Chef de Mission
Indonesia now, led by Siman Surawarta from the sport of swimming.
Absolutely right. Suratawa is in the backstroke event, and Suratawa was just one of 2 Southeast Asian swimmers to qualify for the semi-finals of the recent World Championships, the other being Singapore's very own Joseph Schooling. He qualified in the 50 meters backstroke event at those World Championships. And these Indonesians, usually a real powerhouse in SEA Games. In fact, KL holds special memories for them because their first ever SEA Games was in KL in 1977, and since then they've been racking up the golds. They've had the record for the most gold medals won at a single Games. That was 194 in 1997. They've also got the record for the most medals won at the single Games, and that was 476 in 2011. And they just need 42 more medals to reach 4,900 medals for the SEA Games since their inclusion in 1977.
Absolutely incredible. Badminton being one of their most successful sports. They've won gold medals at every single Olympics since it was first introduced in 1992, except for 2012, that is, as we welcome our next country, Laos, the People's Democratic Republic.
There's their 22nd SEA Games, Laos. Did win the gold medal at the last SEA Games in 2015. It's the first time since 1997 that they left the SEA Games without a gold medal. They've won a total of 66 gold medals, and they're getting stronger as the years have gone on. The stat tells it in itself. 66 gold medals they've won. 55 of those 66 have come in the last 4 editions of the Games. Flag bearer is Kambane Bandingwok, 2013 SEA Games gold medalist in the sport of archery.
Now, though, one of the sports that they'll hope to do well in is sepak takraw. Of course, 40% of the population of Laos is actually made up of indigenous hill tribes like the Hmongs, and in the Hmong region, one of the main sports that they play is sepak takraw. It's often debated who discovered the sport, but the Laotians definitely have a large hand in it as well.
And it's not sepak takraw, but they're also very strong in Baton and also the martial arts sports. Their last gold medalist came in cycling, Ariana Kunsavai, back in 2013 when it was hosted by the next country we're about to witness, Myanmar.
Myanmar, with a contingent size of 200 athletes, led by Chef de Mission Tay Lui, and the flag bearer Aung Myung Sui, sepak takraw 2011 and 2013 SEA Games gold medalist.
Very appropriate that Myung Sui is their flag bearer. Sepak takraw contributing a lot to their Asian Games success, and also here in the SEA Games. Chinlong's another one that they're very strong in. Traditionally though, boat racing is their biggest aspect, but it's not here at the SEA Games in KL. The last Southeast Asian Games in KL in 2001 was their best ever showing, with a total haul of 19 gold medals. And they topped the medal standings in 1969. The best ever gold medal showing, of course, came in 2013 when they hosted the Games, where they ranked up 84 gold medals then.
Now, also important to note, they're pretty good in the wushu as well. Pyomyat Tetsuai as well as Myint Ai Titsa from Myanmar getting gold in 2015. But several gold medals are coming their way. 3 in total. 2 silver. So it's definitely a sport that they're going to be looking to in order to creep their way up the medal tally.
Well, 2001 in KL was their best ever showing, but also back in 1989 when the Games were held in KL, it was the first time that they competed under their new name of Myanmar. Here come the Philippines, who also had their first SEA Games in KL in 1977. They need 4 more to reach 900 SEA Games gold medals, although they have been drying up over the last couple of games. The last 2 games, they've only got 29 gold medals in each game, the lowest since 1999. The flag bearer is Kirsty Elaine Alora from Taekwondo, 2011 and 2013 SEA Games gold medalist, who also competed in the Asian Championships and finished in 2nd spots then. Their best showing 2005 when they won 113 gold medals on home soil. Since then, they haven't been able to rank above 5th in the medal standings.
Well, they certainly have a large pool of talent to choose from. Did you know that they're actually the 12th most populated country in the world, with about 103 million people over their 7,500 islands?
Absolutely, I'm not surprised by it, and there's also a big Filipino contingent and population here in Malaysia itself. That's the reason why they've received very, very loud cheers. Traditionally strong in basketball, of course, where they've won in every edition except for KL in 1989 and 1979 in Jakarta. They're also big on tennis, taekwondo, and athletics, and billiards and snooker. Expects the Filipinos to be looking at those sports for their medal hauls.
Rimao giving it his all, dancing and hyping up everybody as the athletes come out.
Singapore.
As we welcome Singapore.
The 27th SEA Games for Team Singapore since their independence, and this was their biggest away contingent of 568 athletes. So Riyong, already a gold medalist, as we have a look at Jasmine Sir bringing the flag in, Commonwealth gold medalist. And someone as well, shooter, the first shooter since Ong Jun Hong in 2009 to be the flag bearer. Swimming, sailing, the big sports for Singapore. In fact, swimming in itself has contributed to 36% of the 840 gold medals that they've won in total. That's how much the sport has given to Team Singapore in terms of their gold returns each and every year at these biennial games.
Singapore will be looking forward to seeing Joseph Schooling in action in this edition of the Games, and no doubt expecting a lot of gold medals from him.
Oh, definitely. They're hoping for at least to get past the 100 mark in terms of medals yet again. Only once in the last 6 games they failed to do that, and that was in 2009. And speaking of Schooling, 3 individual events and 3 team events for him, so 6 gold medals at stake. Another 3 gold medals to put him even closer to the all-time list of most gold medals won by a male swimmer in the history of the SEA Games, just to cement his legacy. We have a look there at Irfan Fandi, part of the football team, taking their very own break. And here come the footballers, Hami Shayan and gang, taking their very own break before their next match against Brunei.
It's really good to see such a large contingent here for Singapore.
35 more medals, Singapore, to to reach the milestone of 3,000 SEA Games medals, and I'm sure they'll be getting it over the next couple of days.
Got to get that all-important selfie. It's a special place here at the opening ceremony.
Well, it will be hard for them to replicate what they did in 2015 with that 84 gold medals, but as I said, the main aim is for their best ever away showing. In order for that to happen, the number to reach is 43 gold medals that they did in 2007.
Singapore will be hoping that they have what it takes to get past Malaysia in the netball competition and maybe add one more gold.
The most successful nation at the Southeast Asian Games, Thailand, one of 4 countries that have taken part in every SEA Games. This their 29th, and they're led by Pornchai Kaukiao of Sepak Takraw, the best Sepak Takraw player on planet Earth, no doubt about that. And it's so perfect that they chose him as the flag bearer because he's as flamboyant as you get. He's very much a real imagery of what the Thai athletes are all about. It's showtime for them. They always put a smile on your faces. They're big in athletics. 34 gold medals in the past 2 editions in athletics. Let's not forget, you talk about Olympic champions, they have it in there. It's Arsenal as well. Supita Thanasan and Sukanta are part of the weightlifting team that have won gold medals already. And 8 games in a row, they've won over 200 medals. They're hoping it for 9 in a row here in KL.
Absolutely incredible. They do have some serious firepower. Thailand, incredibly successful, as you mentioned, 13 times they've walked away, the most successful country at the SEA Games.
4 of the last 5 editions, that as well, and they need 7 more gold medals to reach 2,100 gold medals in their SEA Games history. And you look at the contingent, there are gold medal faces all around. Sepak Takraw, it's whether they want to show up and whether they want to compete, because they are incomparable in that event. Boxing as well, usually top dogs in Southeast Asia in that event too.
Speaking of the medals that each of these athletes are hoping to walk away with, the medals of these games were designed by Royal Selangor. Very, very beautiful if you haven't seen them yet. They've got these gorgeous, subtle curved surfaces, and they're made of pewter with a disc of kempas wood integrated into the design. They feature the SEA Games logo on the reverse and the Games logo on the reverse as well.
Thailand won 95 gold medals at the last SEA Games in 2015 in Singapore. It's the first time in 3 games that they did not hit the century mark. They're so used to hitting the century mark, with their best ever showing coming in 2007 when they won 183 gold medals, 123 silvers and 103 bronzes. A total haul of 409 medals won in Korat in 2009 is the second most ever in a single games. Timor-Leste make their entrance, and it's the first time in Kuala Lumpur at the SEA Games that we see Timor-Leste, because they only joined the party after the last KL Games from 2003 onwards.
Led in by Liliana da Costa from Olympics. A small contingent, but trust me, they're looking to make an impact as much as they can. Timor actually means east in Malay, and Leste means east in Portuguese, so actually the country is called East-East.
Oh, Vietnam with their 22nd Games. KL holds special memories as well. Back in 1989, KL was the first time that they competed as Vietnam. Before that, they were competing as South Vietnam. Their flag bearer is Vui Tuan An, who was also the Olympic Games flag bearer just last year. 2 goals at the last SEA Games. And speaking of Olympic Games, how well did they do at the 2016 Olympic Games? Shooter Huang Xuan Vinh won Vietnam's first ever gold medal at the Olympics, is here as well in the contingent, hoping to add some SEA Games glory to what he did last year at the Olympic Games. They're big in martial arts, especially Vietnam. Silat, Taekwondo, Wushu, and swimming as well. Let's not forget the Vietnamese were the second most successful nation at the last SEA Games in terms of swimming. A certain Nguyen Thi Dien, she was the real star in female swimming at the last SEA Games. Well, as South Vietnam, they won a total of 39 gold medals. And as Vietnam, they have won 659 more since 1989.
Speaking of medals, so far in this competition, they've already got 3 silvers and 1 bronze. Still searching for that first gold medal, though, here at the 2017 edition of the Games.
28 more gold medals they need to 780 gold medals. They topped the medal table as hosts in 2003. 158 gold medals, 346 medals. And the cheers will get louder because coming up next, the host country, Malaysia.
With a contingent size of 888 athletes, led by Chef de Mission, Datuk Marina Chin, Asian Games and SEA Games multiple gold medalists.
They've got 3 flag bearers for this event, Malaysia. 3 world champions. Azizul Hasni Awang, one of the most colorful athletes in Southeast Asia at the moment. Bronze medalist in cycling at the last Olympics. And he won a world keirin title in April. Chong Jum Hong, Malaysia's first ever diving world champion. Al Jufri Johari, 3 times world champion. And perhaps a showman, the showman in Southeast Asia when it comes to the sport of Silat. Those are their flag bearers, but let's not forget as well the athletes which contribute greatly to their success through the years. They've always come from the sport of hockey, cycling, bowling and diving. They are the top nation in diving. No one even comes close to the Malaysians in that.
If you were to have spectatorship as a sport, though, the Malaysian crowds would definitely win gold time and time again. As you can see, the crowds here in the Bukit Jalil Stadium on their feet, waving their flags, screaming and shouting for the athletes that they're hoping will bring home the gold medals.
2015 in Singapore reads a lot for the Malaysians in terms of gold. They won 62, which is their second best ever showing away from home soil. The best since 2007 when they won 68, but here at home, topping the medal tally in 2001 with 111 gold medals. They've also won 67 in 1989. They've already won a total of 280 gold medals whenever the games are held in Kuala Lumpur, and trust me, they say they are targeting the century mark and beyond in these games all over again.
Well, they're certainly off to a good start. 7 gold medals already in the bag for them. 4 silvers and 5 bronze to bring it to a total of 16 medals so far at these games. And we've only just begun.
Absolutely right. Remember, the next gold medal for Malaysia, which could be won as early as tomorrow morning, will be their 1,100th gold medal at these SEA Games. They've also won 1,089 silver medals, 1,487 bronze medals for a total of 3,675 medals for one of the pioneering members of the Southeast Asian Games.
Look at the crowds going wild. They look like they're having a great time this evening at the opening ceremony.
And a lot of times you're looking at the athletes as well because they need to give the crowd a reason to have a good time. And boy, have the Malaysian athletes given the crowd reasons at every venue so far. The VIPs lap it up. Malaysian DPM, PM, King, they're all here to greet the athletes. And the Malaysians in swimming as well have a certain Wilson Sim who's looking to win a couple of gold medals to make sure that they return as top dog or one of the top nations in swimming all over again.
The crowds are roaring. Now remember, after we welcome and seat all of our athletes. That's just the start of tonight's performance. We've barely begun.
Show directed by So Cheong-hin, all set and ready. And then there is a parade of Malaysian legends, athletes from football, hockey past, showing up to join in the festivities for the 2017 SEA Games too. The crowd are all prepared and ready for it, and nothing ignites them more than the home side marching past. And it's done so again at these SEA Games, thanks to the appearance of the host nation, Malaysia.
2001 was the last time Malaysia hosted the Games. It's been a long time coming, but they're ready to welcome the rest of Southeast Asia here. A total of 11 countries making their presence felt here in the peninsula, where we will be hosting the Games at venues all across Kuala Lumpur as well as in Langkawi.
Absolutely right. In fact, if budget had permitted, the eastern states of Malaysia would have gotten a chance as well to have a look at the SEA Games. Well, in 1965, 16 sports were around for the Malaysians to spectate, and then 17 sports in 1971. In the 1977 KL Games there were 20 sports, 27 sports in 1989, 35 in 2001. These games, 38 sports for these spectators to hop around the venues and cheer on every athlete. And we spoke about Joseph Schooling and his feat at the Olympic Games. He's not the only one, of course, with Olympic experience here at these Games. He's not the only Olympic medalist. Indonesia have got a couple as well from the badminton squad. Malaysia have got a couple as well. In terms of Olympic medalists, Indonesia have got their weightlifter, Eko Irawan, involved in these Games. And the Thais, let's not forget the Thais. They too have got a couple of Olympic gold medalists in weightlifting.
The VIPs all still standing to attention there as they wait for the full Malaysian contingent to pass by. This is a lot of athletes.
874 to be precise. At least that's what they tell us. The biggest contingent, as you'd expect, of these Games coming from Malaysia, taking part in every sport, and already bagging 7 gold medals, with a lot more to come. Another 93 for more fist pumps just like that.
A total of 38 sports with 404 events. And what we can look forward to across these Games. And don't forget, we'll also have the 2017 ASEAN Para Games happening afterwards as well. It's always good to note that we'll be welcoming athletes from all abilities after the close of this Games.
Absolutely right. In fact, it's in the notes of their creative director, So Cheong-hin as well, one of the 4 parts of the show that the Malaysians will showcase to us a little later on. It's about a nation built on inclusion, and when it comes to sport as well, it's good that no boundaries are put out there, and the Malaysians have to be really lauded in terms of the para sport appearing, because they were the first ones to actually ask to include the para sports in Southeast Asia, and thus the Para Games were born. But here at the main SEA Games in itself, the 6th time they're hosting it, might just be the best.
The athletes hoping to rise together, much like the official motto of the 2017 Games. Bangkit Bersama is what we're hoping to do. Rising together, maybe on the wings of a kite. Speaking of which, the official SEA Games logo is an image of a wawbulan, a crescent-shaped kite traditionally popular on the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. We'll definitely be seeing elements of that throughout the course of the opening ceremony later. A combination of the stripes and colours of the logo would derive from the flags of all the countries in Southeast Asia.
Well, those Malaysian flags, all 320 of them, signifying the 320 million population they have been there since a parade of them, along with the Southeast Asian nations' flags. And they will be exiting soon as we welcome the Federation flags, which will be led in, as we mentioned earlier, by some true blue Malaysian legends in sports.
The stadium looks gorgeous from a distance. Absolutely packed to the rafters.
So about 70% of the close to 5,000 athletes have paraded and taken their seats for a show that might inspire them to bring on their best performances for the next few days ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dayang Nur Faiza.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, dipersilakan Dayang Nur Faiza.
Cinta ini, cinta yang mulia, tercipta sudah mendingan tiada, tak berbeza, tiada warna, batasan tiada antara semua. Semangatmu api yang membara, kesetiaan untuk negaraku. Bersama semua satu suara.
vocals there from Dan Faiza, the Sarawakian.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Federation
parade
and Edition flags.
To the margin of all of the flags.
Leading the flags are Malaysian football legends from the 1980 Malaysian Olympic football team. Dr. James Wong, known as King James.
Bit of history here, Mark.
Dr. Shuko Sam, known as Mr. Cool. Dr. Santok Singh, the Karika Kebab. Memories of their success were brought alive again in the hit movie Ola Bola. The flags are carried by our national sportsmen and sportswomen of the year. Carrying in the Federation flag, Shaolin Zulkifli, 5-time Sportswoman of the Year. M. Ramachandran, 1993 Sportsman of the Year. Nurul Huda Abdullah, 22-time SEA Games gold medalist. Datuk Ramlan Pip, the Flying Cock, 1982 Asian Games gold medalist. Sharon Lau, 1995 Sportswoman of the Year. Abdul Rashid Siddiq, 4-time Sportsman of the Year. Dr. Zaitun Rahman, the Bionic Woman, 1982 Sportswoman of the Year. Jeffrey Ong, 8-time SEA Games gold medalist, 1988 Sportsman of the Year. Carrying in the Edition flag, G. Shanti, 1998 Sportswoman of the Year. Sharuliza Razali, 1999 Sportsman of the Year. Elaine Tier, 2004 Sportswoman of the Year. Nor Herman Majid, 6-time SEA Games gold medalist, Sportsman of the Year, 1994. Norsham Yoon, National Coach of the Year 2015. R. Jagannathan, the National Coach of the Year 2014. Chu Yin Hua, National Coach of the Year 2002. Nasri Nasir, National Coach of the Year 2015.
Some very familiar names, not just in Malaysia but all of Southeast Asia as well, led of course by the trio of footballers from the 1980 Malaysia squad that almost qualified for the Olympic Games. In fact, they qualified only for the country to actually boycott those games. One of the more painful stories in what was a golden generation of Malaysian footballers, and how apt that Santok Singh, James Wong and Syukur Saleh leading the athletes in with the flags, the Federation flags, because at the last SEA Games it was So Chinan who started the games off. He, the Tauke of those 1980 Malaysian Olympic squad. And along the way you saw Shaolin Zulkifli as well, Asian Games champion. We also saw Rabuan Pitt, another Asian Games champion. Nurul Huda Abdullah, who's 4th on the all-time list of most gold medals won by a female swimmer at the at the Southeast Asian Games, with 20 gold medals won. And then we have the likes of Jeffrey Ong, gold medalist in the 1989 SEA Games, winner of 8 gold medals in all, long distance swimming champ from the Southeast Asian Games in the late 80s and early 90s. M. Ramachandran, long distance athletics champ in the late 80s and early 90s too. Lots of those athletes actually won here in front of their home fans back in 1989.
But now the responsibility of those flags has been passed over to the Royal Malaysian Navy. In procession now over to the flagpoles where they'll be raised. As we also await a few of our official speeches, and don't forget we've got our oaths coming up. An important part of any opening ceremony.
The flags will now be raised by the Royal Malaysian Navy.
Majestic moment as we see the flags flying high. Blowing in the breeze. As we inch ever closer to the official opening of Kuala Lumpur 2017.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President, Olympic Council of Malaysia, Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Tan Sri Imran Tuanku Jaafar.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Presiden Majlis Olimpik Malaysia Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Tan Sri Imran Tuanku Jaafar untuk ke pentas bagi menyampaikan ucapan.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highnesses, Honourable Prime Minister, and with all protocols observed, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As President of the Southeast Asian Games Federation, I welcome every one of you to this opening ceremony of the 29th SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. In particular, I would like to humbly thank His Majesty, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong of Malaysia, for his gracious presence on this auspicious occasion. I hope Your Majesty will find time to witness the performances of some of our fine athletes from the 11 countries of Southeast Asia. This is the 6th time that Malaysia, as a founding member, has hosted the Games since its inception in 1959, with the last time in 2001 also in KL. My appreciation goes to my colleagues in the SEA Games Federation, coming from all of the national Olympic committees. Thank you for your support and cooperation. On behalf of the Federation, I would like also to congratulate and thank Malaysia for hosting these Games. And in particular, I would like to single out the chairman of the Malaysian SEA Games Organizing Committee, or as we call it, Mascots, Brigadier General Khairi Jamaluddin. Who, as you know, is also the Minister of Youth and Sport, and also, of course, to his hard-working team for producing what I am sure will be a memorable and successful 12 days of sport at the highest level. To the athletes and their supporting entourage, I extend my best wishes to all of you and hope that you achieve your dreams and objectives in the spirit of togetherness, friendship, and sportsmanship. And also to the many officials, workers, volunteers, I wish you every success in your tasks. And finally, of course, to all of you, the spectators, the fans, the supporters, I wish you all an enjoyable and pleasant experience at these, the 29th SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur.
Bersedia. 我们准备好了。Nah, tayar ke kiri.
Saya bersedia.
Bersedia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite the Minister of Youth and Sports Malaysia and Chairman of the Malaysian Organizing Committee, Khairi Jamaluddin.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Menteri Belia dan Sukan Malaysia merangkap pengerusi Jawatankuasa Pengelola Malaysia Kuala Lumpur 2017, Khairi Jamaluddin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam negaraku. Menghadap ke bawah duli Yang Maha Mulia Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong ke-15 Sultan Muhammad ke-5. Ampun tuanku. Patut bagi pihak hadirin sekalian merafak sembah dan menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih ke bawah duli Yang Maha Mulia Sri Paduka Baginda tuanku di atas limpah berkenan untuk berangkat mencemar duli, hadir dan menyerikan majlis pembukaan rasmi Sukan SEA ke-29 pada malam yang berbahagia ini. Patut menjunjung kasih Patut menjunjung kasih atas kecaknaan tuanku terhadap sukan negara yang jelas terjelma dengan keberangkatan tuanku pada malam ini. Patut-patut sekalian berdoa semoga tuanku terus berada dalam keadaan sihat sejahtera untuk bertakhta sebagai payung negara demi kesejahteraan serta kemakmuran negara Malaysia. Seterusnya, patut mohon perkenan tuanku untuk patut sampaikan sepatah dua kata pada majlis ini. Ampun tuanku. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia. berbahagia Datin Seri Rosmah Mansor, Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and selamat datang to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for the 29th Southeast Asia Games. For those of us gathered here tonight and the millions watching at home, we all believe in the power of sport to unite, to inspire, and to bring the very best out of us. It is for this very reason that the SEA Games has been such an important part of shaping the community of Southeast Asian nations that is now coming of age. 50 years ago, statesmen from some of our countries came together to forge a shared future. They believe that we will be stronger as a region, together as one. Their dream has withstood the test of time and unfolding of history. 50 years later, this region stands as a true community, peaceful and prosperous. The foundation of our shared past, present and future, I believe, comes from creating a collective experience for our people. And the SEA Games is the best example for this. Every 2 years, our countries come together, not merely to compete, but to celebrate this Southeast Asian community of ours. Through the Games, we create excitement, we forge memories, and we leave a legacy of friendship and sportsmanship. And we have all come a long way. Our countries are not only fast developing, but we now have Olympic and world champions. These and future champions were and will be born at the Southeast Asia Games. For many of them, the SEA Games will remain special because this is where it all began. That is why the theme for the 29th SEA Games is Rising Together. From the first ever Baton Run that traversed the length and breadth of Southeast Asia, visiting all our capital cities, to our hopes for a green games that leaves behind a sustainable legacy. Let us rise together as a region to celebrate the bonds that unite us, the spirit which lifts our athletes to go faster, higher and stronger, and the confidence of building brighter days ahead for our community in fulfilling the dreams of our forefathers, that the whole of Southeast Asia is greater than the sum of our parts. Please enjoy your stay in Malaysia and let us all compete with the dignity and honor that these games deserve. Tuan-tuan, puan-puan, rakyat Malaysia sekalian, 60 tahun dahulu lahirlah satu harapan. Apabila negeri-negeri semenanjung mencapai kemerdekaan, harapan yang lahir adalah penubuhan sebuah negara bangsa yang merdeka dan bersatu. 6 tahun kemudian, harapan itu bercambah menjadi impian yang lebih besar dengan tertubuhnya Malaysia. Impian besar untuk mencorakkan satu masa depan yang aman dan sejahtera untuk rakyat berbilang kaum, agama dan latar belakang merentasi Laut Cina Selatan. Hari ini, impian itu satu kenyataan. Dan antara detik-detik penyatuan yang menjadikan impian tersebut satu realiti adalah kejayaan sukan. Tidak banyak wadah dan pentas lain yang dapat benar-benar membawa kita bersama sehingga terlupa segala perbezaan yang ada. Apabila kita menyokong wira-wirawati negara, kita tak tanya apakah bangsa mereka. Apabila kita memberi sorakan semangat untuk para atlet, baik di dalam stadium atau di mana jua, tenggelam segala perbezaan. Yang timbul hanya persamaan. Persamaan yang terbit daripada kesatuan hati yang ikhlas, yang ingin menzahirkan cinta tidak berbelah bagi kepada tanah tumpah darah kita. seperti mana berlaku setiap kali kita menjadi tuan rumah Sukan C, yang saya sendiri ingat pada tahun 1989 dan 2001. Biarlah Sukan C ini sekali lagi menjadi medan yang menyatukan kita, di mana 30 juta tangan bersama menggapai impian dan bintang demi memberi sokongan kepada kontingen Malaysia dan meraihkan destiny kita sebagai sebuah negara yang selama-lamanya akan bersatu dan dikurniakan rahmat bahagia sentiasa. Ayo Malaysiaku, kita bangkit bersama. Negaraku, negaraku, negaraku. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Penuh kasih, ampun tuanku.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Tan Sri Imran Tuanku Jaafar will now invite His Majesty Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Muhammad V to officially declare the Games open.
Tiba kita ke kemuncak acara. Titah ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong bagi menyempurnakan perasmian Sukan C ke-29 Kuala Lumpur. Majlis mempersilakan Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Imran Tuanku Jaafar untuk menghadap memohon perkenan ke bawah Duli Yang Maha Mulia Tuanku menzahirkan titah perasmian. Menjunjung kasih Tuanku.
Dengan lafaz suci Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, beta dengan sukacitanya merasmikan Sukan C ke-29 Kuala Lumpur 2017. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 29th SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia has been declared open.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading the athletes in the oath-taking, please welcome Malaysian high jump champion Nauraj Singh. And leading the officials, please welcome Persilat Assistant Secretary and Vice President of the Olympic Council of Malaysia, Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Megat Zulkarnain bin Tan Sri Omar Din. May we have all athletes and officials stand and join us in taking the oath.
Para hadirin sekalian, untuk memimpin penglafazan ikrar bagi mewakili semua atlet Sukan C ke-29, majlis menjemput jagoan lompat tinggi Malaysia, Nauraj Singh. Untuk memimpin penglafazan ikrar bagi mewakili semua pegawai Sukan C ke-29, majlis menjemput Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Megat Zulkarnain bin Tan Sri Omar Din, Penolong Setiausaha Persilat dan Naib Presiden Majlis Olimpik Malaysia. Atlet dan pegawai diminta berdiri dan bersama-sama melafazkan ikrar.
In the name of all the competitors, I promise that we shall take part in the 29th Southeast Asian Games, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them, committing ourselves to the sport without doping and drugs, in the true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory of the sport and the honor of our teams.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of all the judges and officials, I promise that we shall officiate in these 29 Southeast Asian Games with complete impartiality, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern by them, in the true spirit of sportsmanship.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we please give a round of applause to Nauraj Singh and Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Megat Zulkarnain bin Tan Sri Omar Din, all athletes, officials and the flag bearers.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sila berikan tepukan gemuruh buat Nauraj Singh, Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Megat Zulkarnain bin Tan Sri Omar Din, para atlet, pegawai dan pembawa bendera.
High jumper Nauraj Singh, who actually qualified for the last Olympic Games, leading the charge in terms of the oath-taking. While the opening ceremony is just about beginning, the Games have begun, but now it's the turn of creative director So Tiong Hin and his show with music driven by the rhythms that are the heartbeat of Malaysia. Show about provenance, diversity and inclusion.
So many cultures here, all brought together in Malaysia with a variety of dances that tribal etchings, denoting not just the orang asal but also the orang ulu, the Iban warriors and the Badayo people. All these different cultures coming together, telling the story of their origins. Taking us through the diversity of Malaysia, through its landscape, as we celebrate Malaysia's geography. The Bajau horsemen, representing the seafaring people, who usher in a river transforming this field into the sea. The rivers and the waterways, Malaysia's natural gems. Each of the waterways being used for commerce and travel throughout the times. Beadwork on the necklaces there of the dancers, very common amongst the tribes in Sarawak. As we transition now into the next act, similarities in diversity, where we celebrate the remarkable differences of people across Malaysia and the region.
Rembulan dan bintang di rumpun yang di jalur gemilang bercahaya semarak bunga raya seirama satu padu semoga berjaya
combination of different dancers from across the region. We saw the Pelunduks and the Peacocks, signifying two of the major demographics in Malaysia. With the Chinese dancers, as well as the Randai dancers, representing the similarities with Indonesia. Beautiful family. Representing cultural Chinese dance as they perform to the beat of Malay drums. Celebrating Peranakan heritage, the Indian cultures, and how it all comes together. Unified with music.
Apa kabarnya? Lama tak jumpa.
Betul, Pak.
Mari kita nyanyi, ibukan hati.
Boleh kita nyanyi sama-sama.
Anak harimau berlari laju,
Anak harimau ni pandai berlari.
merentas desa lembah dan gunung.
Laju macam kita punya sportsman.
Marilah kita terus maju. Apa salnyonya
Bukan meredup tapi bertuah kita. Maju di dalam suasana damai. Alam apa sorak.
betul tuhnya. Kita orang mujinceng. Orang Melayu kata bersyukur.
Yang kasih di semak. Besai serasi seimbang.
Vibrant switch in tempo now as we see the Branyo dance originating by the Portuguese colonists of Malacca. It's known to have enriched the Malay culture, influencing the dance later known as the joget. lights go out. Flames take place. We move into our third segment. Together, we are stronger. Emphasizing on the importance of working together, of strength and endurance, especially when it comes to helping each other in times of need. The unity that we see here amongst our Southeast Asian nations, as we see performers from Silat, Wushu and Silambang. those dramatic drumming. The beats set the tone. For a nation built on inclusion. Our final act. Truly embodying the motto of the 29th SEA Games, Bangkit Bersama, rising together. We see all of the nations coming out in traditional dress to bring the act to its conclusion. Brought out again, symbolizing yet another form of respect and pride towards the nation of Malaysia.
A febrile end to what was a show designed to showcase the culture, the qualities, and more importantly, the smiles of Malaysia.
At the edge of the morning, a nation is rising and we see the fight here. At the edge of the morning, the shadows are fading and I see the light. Just like a river, tradition runs deep and the future's unclear. As the whole world is watching, voices are singing, does anyone hear?
unofficial songs of the games, entitled So Many Hands. Performed by Mia Valencia. It was released a little bit earlier on, in July.
At the end of the journey, I look behind me, and what will I see?
Well, the Malaysians have always been famous for their culture, their dance, their music, and a show that has been as glittering as Mia's outfits there. And now, as we were talking about earlier on, Kelly, from the spirited performers to the spirit of the games.
The earth and the rivers, right out to the open seas. From one to another, and another to one, it's there for all to hear. This land that sings to us every night of a dawn that will soon begin.
Oh, you're talking about the Baton Run earlier on, wasn't it?
That's right.
And
it was
now,
the first time the Baton Run took place.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Let us welcome the
started in March 2017, covering each of the nations before it led to the beginning of the torch relay.
And here is the torch brought into the stadium for the very first time. As we said earlier on, we still don't know who's going to buy the cauldron yet.
Carrying the torch is Kenny Ang, 1998 Commonwealth Games double gold medalist. Siti Safia Amira Abdul Rahman, PWBA Tour Champion. Muhammad Rafiq Ismail, SEA Games triple gold medalist.
But a significant moment for all athletes, because that flame there symbolizes the spirit that they'll be competing in for the next week or so at the SEA Games. And these athletes that are passing the torch from one to the other also represent Malaysia's best cycling sports,
Dato' Eng Junan,
like
Asian
bowling
Games gold medalist,
and now cycling.
Fatiha Mustafa, SEA Games triple gold medalist. Muhammad Shah Firdaus,
From
World Cup
athletes
bronze
past,
medalist.
present and future.
That's so important, isn't it? To have the athletes to aspire to something great, and how great those stories would be while they're waiting for their turn to take to the main stadium. I'm sure Dato' Eng here would have been telling stories to the likes of Fatiha and Shah Firdaus on his exploits in the past.
Hockey, Dato' Mirnawan Nawawi, four-time SEA Games gold medalist. Muhammad Faisal Shari, Asian Games silver medalist. Hanis Nadian Han, Asia's most promising player 2016.
A hockey side that's lost only once in the SEA Games in 1973. Every edition has been won by the Malaysians.
Athletics, Muhammad Zaki Saki, 8-time SEA Games gold medalist, long jump, triple jump.
these athletes hoping to get their name in the stars, much like the constellations we're seeing on the floor at the moment.
And expect a huge roar for the next one because it's Razif Siddiq, part of the Siddiq brothers who brought so much glory to badminton.
Bronze medalist.
You rarely talk about badminton without mentioning the Siddiq brothers, as they continue to give back to badminton.
Go Jin Wei, 2015 World Junior Champion.
Part of the last Malaysian side, of course, to win the Thomas Cup earlier on, saw Rashid Siddiq come in with the Federation flags. They will pass it on next to diving.
Brian Nixon Lomas, 5-time SEA Games gold medalist, is now passing it to reigning diving champion, Andalela Rino. Andalela won silver at the Rio 2016 Olympics and 6-time SEA Games gold medalist.
She is such a star, Pandalela. Pandalela, the first ever Malaysian female to win a medal at the Olympic Games. She passes it on to Dabita Sabri.
At Glasgow 2014. She's also a 2-time SEA Games gold medalist.
Hoping to make it 3 here in KL, Dabita.
Now the moment we've been waiting for.
Your guess as good as ours as we have a look at the cauldron. The design inspired by the traditional Malaysian oil lamp that is used to welcome guests during festivals.
And this is a festival, if any. A true celebration of sports. Impressive design.
The 5 spokes which form the frame of the torch are inscribed with the Rukun Negara, the 5 pledges that form the pillars of the country Malaysia, and all will uphold. It's erected and it's waiting to be illuminated.
Malaysia looking to fly high, as we now fly with Dabita.
The cauldron lit. The SEA Games officially underway in KL 2017. Noor Dabita Sabri, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist and 2-time SEA Games gold medalist with the honor.
As we see the logo and the fireworks.
Hopefully, Kelly, this will be the start of more fireworks from venues from tomorrow onwards, because the games, with some sports kicking off already before the opening ceremony, will officially begin with tons of action happening from tomorrow onwards.
What sports are you looking forward to, Mark?
Well, obviously, swimming will be one, covering Singapore sports. As I said earlier on, 36% of our total gold medals have come from the pool, and we have an Olympic champion there in Joseph Schooling, Baton Run swimming as well. So there's also Nguyen Thiam Vien, the golden girl of Vietnamese swimming. See what she can do this time in 2017 in KL, see what record she can break, what her winning margins are going to be. Tao Lee's already retired, so because of that, I see a new age of Singapore swimmers coming out from the pool as well. That might be very, very interesting to see who she has passed her very own torch to for these games in Kuala Lumpur. What about yourself?
I think netball's definitely going to be one to look forward to. The finals taking place tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's going to be a showdown between the Causeway rivals. Of course, Malaysia managed to beat Singapore in the round-robin stages, but Singapore are not going to give up easy. I'll tell you that. They're going to give them a good run for the money.
Well, there'll be lots of rivalries crossed yet again at these SEA Games. And there will be lots of action coming from every venue. If you are here in KL, of course, visit the venues, but otherwise watch it either on Toggle, Octo, or the MediaCorp channels, because we will bring the action of Kuala Lumpur 2017 as close to you as possible.
I'm Kelly Lassner, joined by Mark Richmond. We sign off from Bukit Jalil, but don't go away. More action coming from the 29th SEA Games here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Thank you, Malaysia. The games are here, and what a welcome. 404 events for 38 sports over the next 12 days. And we would like to wish the very best to all our athletes.
Terima kasih Malaysia. Sukan SEA ke-29 kini bermula. 404 acara melalui 38 jenis sukan bakal dipertandingkan untuk 12 hari yang akan datang ini. Kami ingin mengucapkan selamat maju jaya kepada semua atlet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for Malaysia's national anthem, Negaraku.
Hadirin sekalian dipersilakan berdiri bagi nyanyian lagu kebangsaan Malaysia, Negaraku.